All right, hello everyone. We're gonna get started with the tutorial for activity 5. So let's get set. I'm already in Soundtrap here. Let's check our written instructions. So I had called this assignment or this activity DAW Expression. Again, DAW is a digital audio workstation. It's the programs used to make music. But really it's actually about sound choice, so I'll probably rename it. So we're going to use this track layering formula, and it's going to teach you kind of what kinds of patterns tend to go well together. So again, we're mostly going to be using the loop library and searching for different kinds of loops. First thing we're going to do is add chords, C-H-O-R-D-S. We've been looking at that word when we're doing our type beat project, looking at what chords are used in the song. Chords are usually labeled in the loop library, so you can actually just search for chords. You can also find chord patterns by searching for instruments that play chords. So a chord is when you play more than one note at once. So guitar, piano, synth, ensembles all play chords, more than one note at once. After the chords are added, we're going to check the key. That's a really important step. Make sure that our loop library is set to find loops in that key and in that scale. Then we're going to add melodies or vocals. After that, add drums, making sure that all 3 tracks are aligned to the grid starting at 1. I haven't mentioned that before, but that is important. We want to make sure that everything is just exactly right in line, just like in this example right here. So we can see there's actually a melody, we've got some chords and drums, all aligned to the grid starting with 1. Let's see if that... So I don't have that set up yet. And then once you have your chords, melody, and drums all added, you can add some effects. I would suggest checking out distortion, filter, delay, and reverb. This is some examples of those. That's where it gets a little complicated. But mostly right now I'm looking for that loop library song choice or sound selection. So here's how you'll do that. Start by going to your loop library, which is right here. And we're going to look for chords first, C-H-O-R-D-S, chords. Again, that's when you play more than one note at once, and that's kind of a good way to start off a track. You can start off a track with any loop, but chords kind of give a good overall feel for what the song is going to be like. I kind of like that. So I also want to point out, you don't want to do exactly what I do in the tutorial. There's almost infinite ways to do this, so don't just do it my way, because that's just one way to do it. Make sure you're searching for chords, and any of these chord loops you can do. So just avoid song starters because they tend to have more than one sound in it. Alright, so you can hear there's a whole beat in there, and that's going to be really hard to edit. So we want to avoid that, but this lo-fi guitar loop. There's even an individual chords. You could probably make a whole song actually just putting different chords together side by side. That would be cool. But let's pick something synth chords. Okay, let's try that. So this is also, very different from how I did this before. I did a piano loop. So you have this gospel organ chords. So let's hear what that sounds like. So we can hear lots of notes being played at once. Cool, great. So the next step is setting the scale. At the bottom here, it says key. You can see that usually it's just a letter. If it's not set yet, it's just a line. So once you add a loop, it tells Soundtrap what key it's in. So it's in the key of C right now. We want to keep that. We don't want to touch that because it's already set. You can see it also says C right here, so I can tell what scale it's in or what key it's in. You can also see that it's in the major column. If it's just the letter without M afterwards, it means it's major. If you see a little M next to the letter, it means it's minor. You can always check this. So you want to set it based on where your key is. Since my key is in the major column, I'm going to set the scale to major. Now I'm going to add either a melody or vocals. So let's try that. I think I have that as next. Yeah. So maybe I'll do a melody. And I'll press play so I can kind of hear how it's going to fit. Okay, kind of like that actually. Yeah, that fits really well, honestly. It's like they were made for each other in a way, but they're not. You know, and the reason why that works is because I set the scale. So they're really both using the same set of musical patterns. They're going to blend together. So now we're going to add some drums. And any kind of drum track works. Sometimes you'll see drum tracks written as either full, fill, kick and snare, tops. So kick and snare and tops are like two parts of the same drum pattern. Full is like a full pattern, and fills are used for transitions. So we don't want to do any fills right now, but full beats would sound good, probably. So maybe, let's see. Let's try it. Not quite. Let's see some other options. That actually feels a little better. Maybe this instead. Okay, we're making this kind of like a pop song. Great. Alright, that's fitting now. More or less. You know, I probably could have just kept going through that and picking different loops and readjusting it. Again, there is almost infinite ways to do this. So once you're at this point, you're all set. The main thing I'm looking for is that you have chords, very important, also melody or vocals, and drums. And then really the most important step is that you set your scale based on your key. To use Soundtrap, you actually need to do this every single time you add loops, or it could add the wrong loop in the wrong way and it's not going to blend because they're not using the same pattern. So at this point you're all set. You can call this A5, save it, and turn it in. So just have two more left. So we had activity 1 and 2. Those were a little complicated. We had to import files for that. In activity 3, we made our own original MIDI patterns. Activity 4, I learned how to mix things so our tracks sound well together. And this is about creating your own patterns using a sound selection formula of chords, melodies, and drums. Next time we're going to make a bass line, our own original bass line. This is kind of tough. And then creating MIDI images with the piano roll. So see you next time. Thanks.